Hey Jax, TJ here. There's a story of a man that went to the reading of the will of his aunt, and he was the only living family member that there was. And he sat there at the reading of the will and thought to himself, I wonder what I'm going to get. And the lawyer got up and read the will and said, To my nephew, I leave the family Bible, and if there's anything left after my funeral expenses and bills, he gets whatever that is. And so at the end of the day, he had a couple $100 and this family Bible. And he was really discouraged, thinking that he would get more. And it wasn't long, and he'd blown through the $200, and he took the family Bible and put it in a trunk up in his attic of his house. And life went on, and as he got older, he was ready to move out of his home, and he was a gray-haired old man at that point. Went upstairs, opened the trunk, sees the Bible, and says, "Yeah, I remember getting this as an inheritance." And as he opened up the pages, his aunt had put $100 bills in different parts of the scriptures. And all that time that he didn't know it was there. And it was just really a metaphor for her, saying the treasure is really in the Bible. And that's true. As we open up God's Word, the true treasure that we'll find is Jesus in the Scriptures. And I just challenge us as we kind of go forward this semester. We're going to talk about pursue and what that means. And we want to start out by talking about pursuing truth. And I would just ask the question, what is truth? I think we live in a world right now that truth is kind of just whatever we want it to be. It's whatever feels good in the moment. It's personal. But there are some very secure truths that are gravity is a truth, for example. There's some certainties, right? And I think our soul has a God-sized hole in it that only He can fill. And you see people trying to fill it up with a lot of other things. And it maybe satisfies us for a little while, but it doesn't give us ultimate satisfaction. And I think we've all been there, right? Our soul seeks certainty. And so I want to talk about just a couple seconds. If we're pursuing truth, we pursue a lot of things, and none of them, not all of them are bad. You pursue a championship, you pursue time on the court or on the field. We pursue these things, and we spend time, we spend energy, we practice, we try to study the game, we take care of ourselves, all these things to pursue a goal. And I would just encourage you to pursue truth, to have a goal in mind that we're chasing after, we're spending time in. And so what does that look like? What does that look like for you? And one of the things I believe as I've gone through life and as I study God's Word is it is full of treasure. It is full of truth for our lives. It gives us certainty. And so three things that I would just encourage you with, that as we read the Bible, that we believe that it gives us, right? One of the things that's a roadmap for us. And I think people want direction. I think if anything this whole pandemic has taught us is people want direction. They want to know what to do. And God's Word gives us a roadmap. We can trust that God knows where He's going and where He's trying to take us. Psalm 32 verse 8 says, I will guide you along the best pathway for your life. I will advise you and watch over you. Now, if the God of the universe, who created all of us, has a pathway for us that He's going to guide us on, I want to know what that pathway is, and I want to try to follow it as best I can. I want to try to follow what the designer has intended for me and for my life, and I hope you do too. So God's Word is a roadmap for us. It gives us direction. It's an anchor. God's Word keeps us grounded. There's a lot of storms that we're going to face in life. The wind is going to blow. We're not going to know which way is up from down at certain times. But the Bible gives us a firm foundation that we can share, to find where our beliefs are. It answers some of the questions that we have, and it gives us confidence in God's promises as we dig into it. Hebrews 6 says, so God has given both His promise and His oath. It's pretty serious. These two things are unchangeable because it's impossible for God to lie. He's grounded in truth Himself. That's His character. Therefore, we who have fled to Him for refuge can have a great confidence as we hold to the hope that lies before us. This hope is a strong and trustworthy anchor for our souls. God's Word is an anchor for our souls. And then it says this, it leads us through the curtain into God's inner sanctuary. So God's word is a roadmap. God's word is an anchor. And the third thing is God's word is a lamp. It gives light in the dark. And I would guarantee we probably could look at our world and say there's a lot of darkness in our world. And it shines a light. It illuminates the world around us. It illuminates intentions. It illuminates our own hearts at times. There are some things as you read God's word that are just, they're tough. And it illuminates maybe more about my heart than it does anything as I read it. Psalm 119, 105. Your word is a lamp to guide my feet and a light for my path. And you can imagine maybe Bible times when they had just an oil lamp or even a torch, and they're out at night, and all it really is lighting is the next steps in front of you. And we want, you want to know what your 10-year plan is, but God's word gives us it gives us enough for today. It gives us enough for our next steps, and it says it guides our feet. It's a light for our path. So God's word gives us truth. As I challenge you to get into God's word, make it a commitment. One of the things is in doing that, don't make it a ritual though. And I think sometimes we'll read the Bible and think that we need to get into God's word, which I think is true. But you want to do it not to get into God's word to say you've done it and checked it off a list, but you want to have God get into your life more. Not for you to get into the Bible, but for the Bible really to get into you. And so what I want to challenge you with tonight is we are joining other colleges from around the country, other student athletes from around the country, and there's the College Athletes Challenge, which is a challenge to get into God's word every day. The first 3 months are already kind of mapped out. I think it's going to start in Ephesians in the month of February. So the College Athletes Challenge starts February 1st. There's college athletes from around the country joining in. If you go on Twitter or Instagram or TikTok and look for College Athletes Challenge, you'll find info there. It's a way for some encouragement to happen. And if you sign up, and as a campus, we've signed up. As a campus FCA, we've signed up. But you need to sign up individually too, and you'll get emailed every Monday kind of the roadmap of what we're going to read, for the week every week. And so I encourage you to do that. The link to sign up, if you're on Instagram, is going to be in our bio, and if you're on YouTube watching this, it'll be below in the comments deal below is how you can sign up for the College Athletes Challenge. And if you just search that on any social media channel, you'll find info to follow them and get some encouragement. All right. I love you. Have a great week. Pursue truth.